Hello. On November 3rd, 2020, Americans are voting for their next President of the United States. Joe Biden is running against President Trump. I am making this video on August 10, just a little less than 3 months from the election. And Joe Biden has not picked his vice president running mate, and he needs to do it within 2 days. And I'm going to show you why I'm saying this and why it's so important. So today is August 10. On either August 12 or August 13, Joe Biden needs to select his running mate and announce it. And I will explain to you why this is so important. And the reason for it is in this graph. Believe it or not, all these funny colored lines going up and down tells me how important this is. Also, I'm taking into account what's going on, which in the political scene, and I will explain that. First of all, let's look at today, August 10. So when we look at this graph, we see some dates along the bottom. It might be a little bit small if you're capturing this on a small screen, or especially if you're looking at this video on a mobile device. So let me point out that this says August 11. I've got this in American style dates, month, day, year. 8/11/2020 refers to this vertical line here in the grid. So notice this brown, goldish brown peak just before August 11th, right around today, August 10. And then it goes down, then it goes way, way up. Well, over here is a key, and it tells me that the brown is inner wisdom, depth, and discipline. Harmonics 7 and 14. So there are 7 lines here. You'll see the 7 colors in this uh, legend that shows what each of these colors means. And the brown is this 7 vibration and a multiple of 7, which is 14. So this graph is showing what vibrations are strongest. And the 7 vibration is the vibration of being introverted, being quiet, being mature, being in control, having a kind of discipline, having a focus. So it's drawing your energy inwards. Very, very strong right now. So what is happening is that right now with the 7 vibration very strong, this quiet introverted feeling, and it gives patience because people are quiet, they're not all revved up and excited, and an interest in being mature, being thorough. So Joe Biden announced, I think it was a month or two ago, that he would select the vice president to running mate in the first week of August. Well, he missed that deadline. He said he would do it in the first week. It's now August 10th. Is this going to hurt him? Not so much because of the 7 vibration, because people appreciate being thorough, being disciplined, taking your time, do it in a responsible way. It's okay, but notice that in a few days, the 7 vibration weakens. And when the 7 vibration weakens, people are not so patient anymore. They're not so interested in being quiet and thorough, being comprehensive. It disappears. The amazing things about these graphs, I've used these to watch political changes over the years, and it's amazing. Whatever vibration is strong becomes a kind of mood, a zeitgeist, the disposition globally, and any activity that happens on a large scale that affects most of a continent, such as a large part of Asia or Europe or Africa or a good part of North America with the United States, picks up on the global feeling very, very much. So it's very simple. I just look at this graph, I see that it's going down, and that's when the patience runs out because the 7 vibration runs out, so to speak. It gets lower. Now over here in the left, upper left corner, by the way, I'm using the Sirius 3.0 software. So if you have the Sirius 3.0 software, you can create this graph. I will show you later how to create it. You get the graph, and then in the upper left corner are the details of what's happening in the graph. There are actually two windows here of information. Now what I'll do is right here I can select which of the 7 graph details I want to look at. And I want to look at the brown, is goldish brown, inner wisdom, depth, and discipline, harmonics 7 and 14. So I can scroll down here, and there it is, the inner wisdom. Now watch what happens when I click on this. This bigger window of details scrolls down. Did you see that? The program just starts at the top and just scrolls down and searches for the beginning of that category, that one of the 7 categories of graphs, one of the 7 lines. It goes down to it because the details of each of these 7 lines is collected together. So it brings me to this section of the inner wisdom, depth, and discipline, harmonics 7 and 14, and I'll just scroll down to today, August 10. Almost there. Here we are, and here's what's happening on August 10 with 7 vibration. That's the 9th. Here it is on the 10th. So if we look at the graph, we will see that it peaked here a little above 80. You see the numbers along the left, a little above 80. And when I look at the graph, I see that that's August 9, 84.33. I'll just round it off and call it 84. Now these specific numbers don't have a definite meaning, they're just relative. So you just see when the graph is relatively high or relatively low. We see that the 7 vibration is very high on August 9, drops down, and then peaks again up above 170. I can scroll down to see when that very high peak of 170 is reached. There it is, 179 on August 16th. Also going back up, here's the August 12 and 13 that I've just highlighted, where the 7 vibration doesn't disappear, it goes down to 13. So that's, we can look at the graph, see it goes up, and then it's hard to see because there's so many different colors here, but it's stopping down here at about 13. Here's 10, just right around here. Becomes very weak. Well, when that 7 vibration becomes weaker, the interest in being so careful, holding back. Biden's been very quiet, quarantined away. People become less patient with that. They're less attuned to it. So whatever the vibration is, that's what's strong, that's what works well. And also, because Biden is now late in picking his vice presidential candidate, if he doesn't act at some point with this 7 vibration, people are going to feel that, yes, it's good that you're being thorough, but when it drops down here, enough is enough. You're not fulfilling what you said you would do. So it's right here when the 7 vibration gets weak. Now you'll notice that this black, see this little black, little tiny thing here, another little one, it's hard to see because it gets mixed up with these other colors, but there's a little black peak here coming up from nothing. The black is usually having no effect at all, but there's a little peak of the black, and it tells us here that black is the 13 vibration of excellence and transformation. So we can go over here to see what the aspects are. Here's the excellence and transformation. And again, scrolls down to this section of excellence and transformation I'll go down to August 12 and 13, which is when the 7 vibration is weak, and we see on the 13th that there's a Jupiter, Venus, Uranus 13 vibration. It's weak. It tells me here it's spreading 14 degrees. That's why it does not come up very high, but there's a bit of Jupiter, Venus, Uranus. 13 wants to be special. It wants to get moving. The Republican Party is very strongly attuned to 13 vibration of freedom, of being strong, of being uncompromising, of feeling like you're special, like the United States is so special. They feel like we're better than everybody else. We're the land of the free, the image of the eagle. We invent and we discover. It's this vision of 13 that runs through the Republican Party very strong. And on August 13th, with Jupiter, Venus, Uranus, if you're an astrologer, you know Jupiter, Uranus, very enthusiastic. Venus, Uranus is like music and dance, and Venus, Jupiter is celebration and spend money and party. So this celebratory sense of victory on the 13th, if Biden is still not moving forward, still trying to figure out who the vice presidential candidate is, when this feeling of celebration, when the 7 vibration becomes weaker, he won't be in tune. If he announces his vice presidential candidate in 2 days or 3 days, say on the 12th or the morning of the 13th, and the 13 will be this feeling of excitement and celebration, he'll be in tune and he'll move forward. 1 or 2 mistakes by the candidates can make a huge difference in what will happen. So astrology does not predict who will become president, as if astrology was some fatalistic determination, like we're looking at a crystal ball and we know the future. It's not what astrology does. What astrology does is it tells us what the momentum is, what the mood is, what the motivation of people is at any time. And if somebody is in tune with that and brings out the best of it, they succeed. So we can see what Biden needs to do. If he doesn't pick the VP candidate by the 14th, if the sun rises on August 14th and he still hasn't picked somebody, it's going to hurt him. The media will get on him. The attacks will be strong. It'll start right around the 13th when they're expecting something to happen. So you can look at these graphs. You can be aware of roughly what's going on. I'm not an extremely strong follower of every detail of politics, but like most people, I know the basic idea of what's going on in the country I live in. I happen to live in the United States, so I'm fairly aware of what's going on, and that's how we can see what happens. Now, if Biden makes the announcement and he picks the right person, he's going to be in very, very strong position. Now, also notice that the 7 vibration is strong through the last month. See these brown lines peaking here. This is telling me late September or early October, and then again in October. Here it says October 8th, a big peak, and then the brown stays high, just gradually going up with some peaks right up until election time. This is good for Biden because he is the more introverted, quiet, thoughtful candidate, as opposed to Trump, who is louder, more brash, more of that 13 vibration and an 11 vibration of high energy and being special. So if 11 and 13 vibration are strong, it helps Trump. When 7 vibration is strong, also 9 vibration of community service and community support systems, Biden comes out strong. What's interesting about this, it doesn't matter what is right or what is best. Whatever is strong will win. So I had predicted in 2016 that Trump would become the nominee for the Republican Party when both the Fox News, which is Republican oriented, and CNN, which is Democrat oriented and are supporters of the Democrats, both news media said Trump did not have much of a chance of winning right before the primaries for the Republican Party began. But I saw these vibrations, how they aligned perfectly with the way Trump is, and I predicted he would get the nomination, and he did. So similarly, we're seeing what works, what doesn't work. If Biden makes the announcement on the 12th or 13th and he picks the right candidate, he will move forward. Now, let's look at what planets are in this 7 vibration. So let's go back here to the uh, 7 vibration. Let's see, that's the inner wisdom, this one. And let's scroll down to August 12, you know, middle of August time period. And what we're seeing, let's go over to, for example, this one, August 16, 179 points. That's this huge peak. What is going on with this very big peak in 7 vibration? It a lot of things all adding up to that huge number, and the ones with the smallest orbs, if it goes under I think about 8-degree orb, the asterisks appear. It means all the planets are tightly connected in that vibration, and it's a Saturn Uranus Neptune. Oh no, Saturn Mercury Uranus. Saturn Mercury Uranus very strong, and a Uranus Sun Neptune. You'll notice that Uranus um, and Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, and over here somewhere we're going to see Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, here it is, are within 14 degrees. So the slow moving planets, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, are connecting with several other planets, Mercury and Sun, and it's making all these combinations. Well, Uranus and Neptune are the slow moving planets, and Saturn, that are involved, and when they tie up with a faster moving planets like Sun and Mercury, this goes way, way up. Well, Uranus Neptune is mystical. Well, not always mystical, but it's visionary. It's a dreamer. But in 7 vibration, it's like a quiet dreaming. It's an internal dreaming. It's a more serious and thoughtful kind of dreaming. So it'd be like the dream of what is the greatness of the United States, that sense of higher purpose in a political context. So this is a time for deep sensitivity about what our dreams and visions are. So the great speakers, you can think of Martin Luther King or John F. Kennedy, someone who can eloquently inspire that sense of vision and dream in a deeper, more meaningful way, is a person who will succeed. So that's what the candidates need to do, to be in tune with this fairly strong 7 vibration, one of the higher vibrations at the time, with that Uranus Neptune emphasis. Now, another thing about Saturn Uranus Neptune, it's a rather difficult combination, and in 7 vibration it often leads to conspiracy theories. These wild dreams and visions can become disconnected from reality. Basically is what it is, because the 7 vibration isolates, and you're whipping up all these dreams and visions, and with a serious intent, Saturn's involved, and you're not communicating a lot. You go off into your own spinning out of control ideas. So when Biden picks the candidate, and he'll be smart if he does it in a few days, around on the 12th or 13th would be perfect. He needs to pick someone who is not easily suspected of being, like influenced by negative forces or siding with communists or something like this, that kind of conspiracy is not, or exaggerated claims could not be projected onto the person very easily. And you can see the candidates that are running, some of them can be more easily accused of that. So this is what we're looking at. In fact, let's pull up a browser real quickly and let's see who these candidates are and let's evaluate them. So we'll just go to Google here and let's just type in uh, Joe Biden VP picks or something, and let's see uh, who shows up here on the list. Um, let's see. Oh, they're saying Biden's VP pick is said to be imminent. Well, let's hope so. Uh, Kamala Harris, who is in the list? Let's see if we can get a nice list real quickly, and let's evaluate, given the context of what's going on. Let's see who stands out here. Um, yeah, I'm sorry I didn't do this earlier. I had meant to. Uh, Kamala Kamala Harris. Does she have the dignity, the gravitas, the steadiness? I think she's more of a spirited attorney with a more complex past, even though she's highly rated. Maybe not the best person. Susan Rice would be perfect, except for one thing, is that the opponents, the Republicans, are claiming that in the Benghazi affair she didn't manage it right, and all kinds of extreme views can come out of that, but otherwise she would be a perfect person because of her high standing, her high achievement, her high academic achievement before her uh, very high profile work in the government, and she has that kind of commanding presence. You may not agree with me. But I think in general, there's a general tone that's set that most of us can see. Gretchen Whitmer, not as much clearly a seven vibration kind of person. Tammy Duckworth could be a perfect VP because as a veteran, as a person who speaks clearly and strongly and directly, she has that strength. So she could be very, very good. So uh, Karen Bass, who's been accused of saying that she likes Fidel Castro and things like that. Well, any kind of association like that, the conspiracy theories will go from here till kingdom come. Not a good choice. What I'm doing here is just showing how we can use our understanding of the vibrations that are strong to know what will work and what will not work. Just look at what's being said and what the themes are that are going on. Again, just focus on the astrology, what the qualities are. Now let me point out something else here. Seven vibration is not the only strong vibration going on. Look at this light blue peaking very strong right before the election. This aqua color is empathy, vibration 17. And if we scroll down to the 17 vibration listing, let's see when it goes above 90 right before the election. Here it is, November 1st. And what's going on here? Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Jupiter, Venus, Mars. This means that Venus and Jupiter are combining with Mercury, Mars. There's a Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter 17 vibration. This is excellent for Joe Biden. This favors the Democrats. And again, I'm not being partisan here. I've picked Republicans to win. I'll pick Democrats to win. I'm just looking at what the energy is. Maybe maybe it's not pointing to what I like, or maybe it is. But in this case, that helps Biden because the 17 vibration is the vibration of understanding other people, feeling a part of their stories. And the Republicans tend to be a little more isolationist, a little bit more about building walls and hesitant to to integrate in different styles. 17 thrives on it. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, looking for understanding, loving the art, the literature, the ideas, the all the cultural aspects of different parts of the world. So that favors Biden, especially if he emphasizes this. But here's something that comes in strong for the Republicans, the black. See, this black is a little bit hidden behind the blue, but it's peaking also right before the election. And the black is the 13 vibration, which very strongly favors the Republicans. It was a strong 13 vibration in the 2016 election that had me predicting that a strong individual like Trump would come to the foreground and that the Republicans would do much better in the election than people had expected. Not only did they do much better, but Trump became the president. And so we see another boost to 13, and let's see what the planets are to get the exact feeling of it. So if I go over here to let's go up to the top and scroll down. I want to go to the excellence and transformation. I'm going to actually click on the empathy because it's going to be right above the empathy is the 13 vibration. And let's see what this peak is that goes just above 60. There's that 60 and right there, and the black goes just a little above it. So there it is on October 30th. It's about 4 days before the election, and the planets are, let's see, Mars, Neptune, Pluto, Venus, Neptune, Pluto. So it's a Venus, Mars, Neptune, Pluto configuration. Well, that it shows Mars, Pluto, Mars, Neptune going after the dream, being special. So this feeling of the United States with its image of the eagle, of going where others fear to tread, doing it passionately, and the love of the American style with Venus in there, the beauty of it. There's beauty in every style. But when Venus is activated, it brings out whatever beauty is there, becomes very strong. So there's a last minute surge of pro Trump energy in just the week leading up to the election. So that's going to give some strength there. So who wins depends on what people do. And right now with the COVID-19 still going strong, is not bringing out Trump as a strong leader. It's hurting him very, very badly. And if the COVID-19 continues to be strong, as it appears it's likely to be into the election, you never know. Maybe it'll subside. Maybe some treatments will start being administered. A lot is going to depend on that. If it doesn't go well, Biden will probably become president. But let's see if he picks the VP on the 12th or 13th, and let's see who he picks. Tammy Duckworth appears to probably be his best choice. Kamala Harris, because of the more variability in the way she has made her decisions. It's not giving the sense of steadiness that we want for the 7 vibration, which is the most conspicuous. So but still a good candidate. Any decision he makes of a reasonable candidate will be very good. Elizabeth Warren would not be a good choice at this time because she doesn't convey that strong gravitas, maturity, strength of 7 vibration. I'm not criticizing anybody. Everybody has a different personality, different style that works at different times. Okay, so I wanted to show you how we use this graph to see what's increasing, how we can relate it to what's going on, and how, if we were given the opportunity to advise politicians, it becomes fairly easy to see exactly what needs to be done. This has happened over and over and over again. I watched Hillary Clinton make so many mistakes, not being in tune with the themes that were strong. This 13 vibration was very strong. She was not in tune with it. I've talked about that a little bit at other times, and she paid the price. So this is what's happening. Let's see if Joe Biden makes a few really good steps here. And the other thing is, let me just say one more thing, and I'll be done with this video, is that um, Biden's been hanging out kind of quiet, uh, and that's okay during these 7 vibration times, but the 13 vibration comes in very strong at the end. The Republicans won in 2016 based on a 13 vibration, which was stronger then than it is now. And the Democrats need to not appear weak. They need to make strong statements, not just argumentative, but they need to have that sense of stature and strength, and that they are not so compromising or politically correct, that they're taking a stand and pushing forward innovation, pioneering, and a sense of confidence to invent and create a great future. So that this is all one of the weaknesses of the Democrats is that they've been easily painted as being too politically correct, too meek, too compromising, not standing up when, for example, Trump says during trade deals and so on. They need to make that clear, and if they do that, they will win. And with the combination of 7 vibration, stature, and dignity, they will win if that's all they have to do. Um, okay, well, that's it, my friends. Thank you very much for listening. God bless. Namaste.